told me not to work alone after midnight. Simple enough, right? But rules don't always feel important until you break them, and something starts breathing over your shoulder that shouldn't exist anymore. I was fresh out of fellowship when I got the job. A medium-sized forensic lab in Ohio, state-funded. Decent equipment, enough dead bodies to keep things interesting without overwhelming you. My predecessor, Dr. Lewis, left suddenly. No retirement party, no farewell speech, just an empty locker and a resignation letter that read, "I'm not working another shift with the door unlocked. You shouldn't either." That should have been my first red flag. But back then, I still thought most of this job boiled down to blood, tissue, and time of death. I didn't think rules like his were anything more than superstition from an old man who'd seen too much. Turns out, I was right about one thing. He had seen too much. The rules were in a laminated binder, left in my drawer on day one. There were 12 total, typed, printed, and signed with a red marker in the corner that read, "Do not ignore." Here's what Rule 1 said. Do not perform autopsies alone after 12:00 a.m. If you must be in the lab past midnight, do not make direct eye contact with the mirrors. If you hear movement from the cold chamber or calling from the decedent, leave immediately. I remember laughing. I even made a joke about it to Maya, one of the other techs. Guess Lewis was the spooky type. She didn't laugh. She just said, "You're on swing shift this week, right?" Yeah. Her face went still. Then don't fucks around with the rules. Not even once. The first few weeks, I followed them. It wasn't that hard. The job wore me out enough by 11:00 anyway. But eventually, there came the night. A Jane Doe, high-profile case. No fingerprints. Dumped by the river. Police wanted answers yesterday, and my shift ran late. I checked the clock when I stepped into the cold room. 12 or 6 a.m. She was laid out on table 3, naked, pale, mouth stitched shut, eyes still open. Body temp matched the chamber. No signs of post-mortem twitching. No higor heversal. She was, by every metric, dead. So I ignored the rule. Halfway through the Y incision, the lights flickered. Not just a stutter, a full-on 3-second blackout. When they came back on, everything was the same. Except she was smiling, not just her lips. Her cheeks had creased. Her mouth was still stitched shut, but there were new lines, wrinkles, laugh lines that hadn't been there 10 minutes before. I dropped my scalpel, backed away, told myself it was my imagination. Then I heard it, a whisper, right behind my ear. "You're doing a great job, Doctor." I turned. Nobody there, just the reflection. In the glass cabinet above the sink, there was someone standing behind me in the reflection. But when I looked over my shoulder, nothing. Just the hum of the freezer and the gentle drip of fluid from the body bag I hadn't opened yet. I left. Fast. Didn't bother logging out. Didn't even cover the body. When I told Maya the next morning, she just nodded. "You broke Rule 1. No one told me they smile," I said. She shrugged. "Sometimes they do. Sometimes they talk. You've heard them." Her silence told me everything I needed to know. From that night on, I never stayed past 11:30. Didn't matter how important the case was. Didn't matter how many bodies were on the table. When the clock hit 11:50, I was washing my hands and locking the cold room. But here's the thing. Sometimes the work follows you home. That weekend, I woke up to my doorbell at 3. Theresia, looked through the peephole. No one there. But there was something on my welcome mat. A toe tag from the morgue with my name on it. I didn't want to go back. After the toe tag showed up on my doormat, my name printed in block letters. Time of death pending, I stayed away for 3 days. Called in sick, faked a fever, blamed food poisoning. Maya covered for me. She didn't even question it. But the morgue doesn't stop just because you're scared. People keep dying, and sooner or later, someone's going to ask why a state-employed forensic pathologist is afraid of his own lab. So on Thursday, I came back, and that's when I broke Rule 3. Let me back up. There's a storage unit in the back, drawers built into the walls like a giant filing cabinet for the dead. Rows of body slots, all numbered. And Rule 3 is very specific. If you open drawer 17, you must remove the contents. If it's empty, close it and walk away. Never open it a second time in the same shift. I didn't think I'd have a reason to touch 17. Hell, most of us pretended it didn't exist. We loaded into the other drawers, worked around it. But that morning, the cold room was packed. Backed up from a wreck on the Interstate 6 dead. 2 headless. Everything else was full. I didn't even notice the number until I had the toe tag in hand. Body 0284J. Male. Unknown. No next of kin. Put him in 17, Maya said, sliding the sheet toward me. I opened the drawer. It was empty. Well, empty of bodies. But there was a single object inside. A mirror. Small. Circular. Like the kind you'd find in an old lady's purse. And the second I saw it, something inside me screamed to shut the drawer. But I didn't. I picked it up, and in the reflection, my eyes were black. I don't mean pupils dilated. I mean no whites, no iris, just void. I blinked. My reflection didn't. It just smiled and whispered, "You're late." I dropped the mirror. It didn't shatter. It didn't bounce. It sank. Like it melted into the drawer. Gone. That's when I heard it. My own voice from inside the wall. Put me back. I slammed the drawer shut. Locked it. Backed away. But all day, I couldn't stop thinking about it. Why was the mirror in there? Who put it there? What the hell did it mean? I should have left it alone. But curiosity is a disease. Worse than fear. More dangerous than any ghost or monster. At the end of my shift, I went back, opened it again. Drawer 17 was empty, but only at first. Then it creaked, and something moved. Not a body. Not exactly. It looked like me, but gray, withered, bloated, as if I'd been dead 3 days and no one had noticed. It whispered again, in my voice. Second time's not the charm. Doc. The lights flickered. My nose bled. My shadow moved in the opposite direction as me. And when I finally closed that drawer, screaming, sweating, I saw another toe tag on the floor. Same name, same date. But now, under time of death, it said, 3:13 a.m. tomorrow. I'm not religious. Never was. But after what I saw that week, I started sleeping with a Bible on my chest. Not because I believed it would help, because it was the only book in my house that still had my name written in the front cover by my mother. Back when I was real, everything else started to feel borrowed. The third incident started with a mistake, not mine, dispatches. They called it a cold transfer. That's when the bodies moved from an old facility to ours for a re-exam. Usually to clear up a legal issue. We get maybe 1 or 2 a year. But this one came in without warning. No paperwork, no transport manifest, just a box, no tag, and it stank. Not of rot, of ash, burnt wood, melted plastic, old air. When we unzipped the bag, Maya immediately stepped back. What the hell? The body inside was a male, probably in his 60s. Black suit, crushed velvet, burn marks along the forearms and throat, but the skin was leathery too. Leathery. Looks mummified, I muttered. Then I saw the tattoo. Faded. Blue. Wrist. 1972. That's all it said. I pulled the sheet farther down. There was a metal tag sewn into the chest. Not dog tags, not military. It was a welded strip of brass, etched into it. This body belongs to room 4. Do not transfer. I looked at Maya. You seen this before? She didn't move, didn't speak. Then I realized she was staring at the two-way mirror behind us, the one that looked into the corridor. Maya. She raised a trembling hand. There's someone on the other side. I turned. Nobody. But in the mirror, I saw him. The corpse. Standing. Staring. Hands at his sides. Eyes open. Not blinking. Just burning. I turned around fast. Nothing had moved. Still lying there. But now his right hand was curled into a fist. Wasn't like that before. I reached for the scalpel. Professional instinct. Then stopped. One of the rules burned into the back of my skull. If the body moves, do not touch it. Do not speak to it. Exit the room. Report to Dr. Sandell. But Sandell retired in 2009. Died in 2014. Heart attack in his garden. If I remember right. So who the hell was I supposed to report to? We backed out slowly. Locked the cold room. But when we checked the camera footage later, the body was never there. Just an empty bag, still zipped shut. And at 3:13 a.m., the camera cut to static. The next morning, drawer 4 wouldn't open. Maya tried. I tried. We even brought in maintenance. Welded shut. And above it, scratched into the metal. Fresh and jagged. Already claimed. When I went home that night, there was a sticky note on my fridge. I live alone. No one has a key. All it said was, Room 4 is not yours. And underneath it, time of death. Reassigned. You don't realize how often you check your reflection until the one looking back isn't you anymore. That's why Rule 6 exists. It's printed in bold, red font on the Morgue's safety sheet. Do not look into any reflective surface in the autopsy suite after sunset. Especially not the sink mirror. They didn't explain why. No one ever does. I broke it once. But this isn't about me. This is about Liam. He was the new guy, fresh out of med school. Too confident. Still had that glow people carry before the job burns it out. Second week in, he was scheduled for overnight inventory. Cold room checks, tag updates, minor stuff. I warned him. Don't look in the mirror. He grinned like it was a joke. Come on, Doc. I'm not scared of my own face. At 3:13 the alarms tripped. Motion detection in processing room B. I was already on site, catching up on reports from the 72 fire victim. When I got to the lab, the lights were off. And Liam. Pause. He was still standing in front of the sink, motionless, staring into the mirror. I called his name. No reaction. I flipped on the lights. He didn't blink, didn't breathe, just stared and smiled. I stepped closer, touched his arm. Cold, but alive. Then I looked in the mirror, and I swear, he blinked, but only in the reflection. The real Liam didn't, and in the glass, his smile widened. I tried to pull him away. He screamed, not out loud, in the mirror. His mouth opened wide, jaw unhinged. Too far. Blood smeared across the inside of the glass, like it was pressed from the other side. The real Liam just collapsed. We found his body breathing. Pulse normal, but he didn't wake up. His eyes stayed open, dull, fixed. The coroner said it was a seizure, some kind of neurological shock. But Maya and I, we knew better. We locked him in storage room C. It's not a cold room, just dry storage. I know how that sounds. But you haven't seen what happens when someone gets claimed by the mirror. They stop being them. Their body becomes a signal. That night, the mirror in my apartment fogged up on its own. No shower, no heat, and written in it backward, from the inside. He's still in there. I haven't opened the door to Storage C in 5 days, but I hear footsteps inside, pacing, scraping, sometimes a knock exactly 3 times, always at 3. 13. Some cases come to us, others, we're sent to them. This one was a retrieval, remote death, middle of nowhere farmland. A farmer reported a man lying in the woods behind his property, looked dead, no ID, not breathing. Sheriff's office asked us to do the field pickup because the coroner was already backed up. That's not normal protocol. But when I asked why, the deputy just said, "Body's weird." Didn't want to touch it. I should have passed. But I went, alone. Stupid. The place was an hour outside town. Fog everywhere. Trees dead from drought. The farmhouse looked like no one had lived in it for years, except for the horses. They watched me the whole time. Didn't move. Didn't blink. Like they were waiting. The body was maybe 40 yards from the tree line. Face down. Hands stretched out like he'd been dragged backward. No visible wounds. But his fingers were missing. Not cut, pulled off. And his clothes. Outdated. Like he stepped out of a catalog from the 1950s. Crouched down. Checked for vitals. Nothing. Skin cold. No pulse. Cloudy eyes. Dead. I zipped him into the bag. Dragged him back to the van. Tossed the bag in. Closed the door. Pause. And then I heard it. "Don't take me." I froze. Thought maybe it was a trick of the wind, or adrenaline, or my own guilt, screaming at me in my head. But then it came again from inside the bag. "Don't take me, Michael." Pause. It knew my name. I stepped away, heart racing. No protocol covers this. I opened the van door. The bag was still zipped. Still, but the plastic was puffing, rising and falling, breathing. I pulled out my phone, called dispatch. Possible contamination. Need backup. Live body mistaken as DOA. But as soon as I spoke the word alive, the bag twitched, like something inside was reacting to my acknowledgement. Then it laughed, short, choked, like a cough that had been taught how to smile. Too late. I slammed the doors shut and drove. Didn't wait for the sheriff. Didn't look back. Just kept the rear-view mirror pointed at the road and not the bag. Back at the lab, I brought the bag to the cold room. Maya wasn't in yet. I was alone. Again, I shouldn't have been. I placed the bag on table 2, reached for scissors. Before I could unzip it, the voice returned. This time, directly in my ear, but the room was silent. I wore your name once before. I staggered back. The zipper slid open on its own. Inside, still the man, same face, same clothes, but his eyes were open now, staring at me. I swear to God, they were my eyes. Then he grinned and said, "See you soon." I backed out, hit the alarm. When Maya arrived, I told her everything. We went to check the bag together. Empty. Still zipped. Tag removed. And the name on the autopsy schedule for that day. Michael Hart, assigned to unclaimed male. Field code 5. Time of death. 3. Tresia. Amim. Beat. That wasn't his name. It was mine. The morgue is quiet by design. Cold. Sterile. Sealed off from the living. Silence is supposed to mean safety. But last night, it got quiet in a way I'd never heard before. Dead quiet. The storm hit around 2:40 im. Lightning took out power in half the county. Backup generator kicked on automatically. Happens maybe once a year. No big deal. Except this time, it didn't fully power back up. Lights flickered. Systems blinked. But cold room ventilation, down. Drawer locks, offline. And the worst part, the sound. It started as tapping, faint, rhythmic. Tap, tap, tap. I thought it was rain hitting a window, then realized there are no windows in the storage wing. Then the pattern changed. 3 knocks. Pause. 2 knocks. Pause. 3 again. And it was coming from the wall. I stepped into the cold room. Pitch black. Just the red glow of the backup exit sign. The drawers lined both sides of the wall like coffin slots. 30 of them, and one by one, they started knocking back. Not all at once. Sequentially. Left side. Drawer 12. Pause. Right side. Drawer 4. Beat. Left side again. Drawer 17. I froze. That one had the mirror. I hadn't opened it since. Rule 8 flashed through my head. If the drawers knock, do not answer. Do not touch. Do not speak. They're listening. But it's hard not to answer when something's calling you by name. Michael whispered. Guttural, echoing from inside the steel. Come closer. I should have left, hit the alarm, gotten Maya. But I couldn't move. Something pulled at me. Not physically. Familiarity. Like when someone calls your name, and it sounds exactly like your own voice. That's what it was. My voice. From inside drawer 17, I reached out, hand trembling, fingers brushing the handle. Then I heard it another whisper. We're not locked in. You are. The lights went out completely. The sound stopped. Nothing but my own breath. And then, drawer 4 opened itself. Slow. Screeching. Inside. Nothing. Just the brass tag. Same as the 1972 corpse. But this time, it read, in progress. Behind me, all 30 drawers began to rattle, one by one. Banging, screaming, metal shaking loose. It sounded like a riot of the dead. I turned and ran, slammed the cold room door shut, wedged the gurney in front of it, and just as I caught my breath, the generator surged. Lights on. Locks clicked. Silence again. When I checked the drawers the next day, all locked, all accounted for, except for one. Drawer 4. No tag, no record. Empty. But someone had scratched something into the bottom with their fingernails. Stop looking. There's a rule that's not written down. The old staff calls it the echo rule. It goes like this. If you see yourself on the table, don't examine the body. Don't tag it. Don't report it. Just leave. I used to think that one was a joke. Until last Friday, we received a high-priority cadaver drop around noon. Anonymous delivery. Plain black bag. No toe tag. No paperwork. That wasn't entirely unusual. Sometimes the feds send us things they don't want. Documented the normal way. It's usually hush-hush trafficking victims. Off-the-books deaths. Stuff like that. But this one came cold. Already frozen. Like someone was trying to preserve it before we saw too much. I unzipped the bag. And there he was. Beat. Me. Laid out on the table. Exact height. Same scar above the left eyebrow. Same old tattoo on my shoulder from college bad ink. Blurred over time. Even the chipped front tooth from that fight in 8th grade. I backed away. Called Maya. She took one look and turned white. Didn't say anything. Just handed me a latex glove and gestured to the fingerprint scanner. Check it, she whispered. I hesitated. She didn't blink. I scanned the left index finger. Match. 100%. Michael Hart. ID confirmed. Except time of death listed in the attached file. Tomorrow. 3 a.m. I checked again. Thought it was a system glitch. Couldn't be real. But there it was. Filed at 9:21 a.m. The following day. Date stamped by an access code that didn't exist in our system. ID. MH35s. I looked back at the body. Still frozen. But now, The eyes were open, looking at me. I didn't open them. No one did. They were just open. Maya stepped back. "I think this is a trick," she said. "It's not you. Feels like me. No, you feel like you beat. That thing looks like something pretending it still knows how." That night, I tried not to sleep. Didn't help. I woke up at 3 a.m. gasping. The apartment was dark, dead silent, except for the sound of zippers. Multiple unzipping, then zipping over and over. I checked every bag, every drawer. Nothing until I opened the fridge, not the freezer. The fridge. Inside. No food. Just one thing. My own toe tag. Fresh. Still damp. Time of death updated. Today. 3 a.m. Beat. I looked at the tag number. MH36. Whisper. They're still counting. You ever dissect a body that isn't there anymore? Because I have, and I still have the blood under my nails to prove it. It started normal, or what passes for normal around here. Unidentified John Doe. No trauma, no decay, just there. Arrived sometime before dawn. Placed in drawer 9. Maya said she didn't log him in. Neither did I. But the tag was there. Typed. Clean. Too clean. Subject. MH. That was the entire file. Just a question mark. I decided to do the autopsy myself. Solo. Against the rules, but we'd both broken worse by now. Gloves on. Lights overhead. Scalpel in hand. First incision. Sternal notch to navel. Textbook. But the second I opened the chest, something felt wrong. Like the tissue pulled back on its own. No resistance. No tension. Like slicing into warm memory foam. Except it was warm. Too warm. That's when the lights dimmed. Just for a second. And the body was gone. Not vanished like magic. Gone like it had stood up and walked off when I blinked. Sheet on the floor. Scalpel missing. Blood on my gloves. And blood on the floor. Leading out of the room. I followed it. Because that's what we do. You follow the trail. You document everything. You write it down like it's normal. But this wasn't normal. The blood didn't just drip. It stopped and started. Small pools. Like it had paused. To wait. Then more. And more. Until it led me to my office. The door was open. I hadn't opened it. The chair was turned around. Facing the wall. And there, on the backrest, a single handprint. Bloody. Human. Left-handed like me. I walked in slowly. No one there. No body. No sound. Just a sticky note on my keyboard. You cut too deep this time. Underneath the monitor. My scalpel. Still warm. Still bloody. Beat. And when I checked the cameras, the footage showed me entering the cold room. But never leaving. Maya doesn't know yet. I haven't told her. Because I'm afraid if I speak it out loud, it'll make it real. But last night, I washed my hands in the sink. And when I looked up at the mirror, I wasn't there. Just the empty room behind me. And the office chair, spinning. I woke up at my desk again. Not just tired. Not just groggy. I mean full blackout. No memory of walking in. No idea how I got there. But the coffee was fresh. The lights were on, and someone had logged into the terminal under my name. I checked the audit log. The screen showed 5 new reports, fresh files, all time-stamped between 2:59 and 3 a.m. Of course, always 3:30, and the name at the top of each. Dr. Michael Hart. I opened the first file. Subject, unclaimed male. Facial features obscured. Time of death, unknown. Cause of death, heart rupture internal only. Final note, did not blink. The second one, female. Approx. 90. Skin reflective. Voice mimicked staff. Final note, Refused to stay cold. Returned to drawer 17 voluntarily. Pause. None of these people were on our intake logs. No body bags, no transfer slips, no evidence they ever existed. I checked the digital signatures. They weren't forged. They were mine. Retinal scan, thumbprint, even the diagnostic phrasing, exactly how I write it. But I didn't write these, at least not when I was awake. Then Maya messaged me. Hey, did you run the triple shift last night? I thought you left at 11. I replied, I did leave. Another message. We saw you on camera. You were talking to someone in processing, but there's no one there. She sent a screenshot. There I was, standing over a gurney, smiling, mouth moving, alone. I went to processing myself. Empty, lights flickering. But on the gurney, under a thin white sheet, my jacket folded, clean, and tucked inside the pocket. A printed report. Subject, Dear Michael Hart. Time of death, TBD. Cause, pending observation. Autopsy requested by MH37. The numbers still climbing. I don't remember writing the report, but the handwriting matched. So I did what anyone would do. I tested my blood, took a sample, ran it, and the results. Not human. Let me repeat that. Not human. The cellular breakdown was wrong. The hemoglobin didn't bind correctly. My DNA showed inverted segments, like something had edited me and put the pieces back wrong. I reran it 5 times. Same result. Later that night, I opened my locker. Inside, another lab coat, same name tag, same initials, but it wasn't mine. The tag read, property of MH38, and stitched into the sleeve, written in red thread, do not erase this one. Maya showed up at my apartment this morning. No warning, no text, just 3 loud knocks at 6. 02 She never knocks. That's when I knew something was wrong. She looked pale, like she hadn't slept in days. Eyes rimmed in red, hands shaking. Even while she tried to keep her voice even. I need to show you something, she said. I didn't ask. I just let her in. She pulled out a flash drive, plugged it into my laptop, opened a folder labeled Surveillance Override, dated last night, 3:13 am. Of course, always 3. Why? She played the video. It was from the processing room's overhead camera. There I was, fully suited, masked, gloved, performing a complete Y incision, methodical, clean. The subject couldn't tell, covered, not visible on camera, but the timestamp didn't lie. I was working at 3:13 Except, at that exact time, Maya had driven past my house, on purpose. She knew I'd been acting off, and she saw my bedroom window lit. She called my phone. I answered. I was home, talking, awake, in my pajamas. So who the hell was in the lab? I felt sick. The kind of sick where your body knows something fundamental is wrong, like the world cracked an inch to the left. Maya whispered, "You're being used." I didn't respond. Couldn't. She kept going. I cross-referenced the badge access logs. Someone's scheduling autopsies for you. Always the same name. Oh, that's me, I said. She shook her head. No, it's not. She showed me the logs. And there, in column after column, MH31, MH32, MA33, MH34, all the way to MH39. Different logins, same ID prefix, same room key, all under my name. Then she clicked a file I hadn't seen. The autopsy records, not written like mine, not exactly. The wording was clinical, cold, inhuman. The observations too precise, like whoever wrote them wasn't studying a corpse, but cataloging a product One line stood out, over and over, in bold, in red. Host retention successful. Body active during non-waking state. I backed away from the laptop. Maya stared at me like she was waiting for me to say something. But all I could do was whisper, "How long has this been happening?" She didn't answer, just handed me a printed schedule. Next week's autopsies, 7 total. Same start time, 3. MS1. Same assigned doctor, Dr. Michael Hart. And next to each, state, asleep. I flipped to the last page. A final entry. No subject name, no cause of death. Just case MH40. Autopsy time, 3 M. Scheduled, pending. Status, pre-authorized. That's not a patient. That's me. And I'm next. I spent all of last night trying to delete myself. Not metaphorically, not emotionally, literally. I logged into the morgue's internal system under the highest clearance I could get my hands on. Admin level, override mode, code red access. I pulled up every instance of my name, Michael Hart, MH31 through MH39. I marked all entries for deletion. Set the confirmation command. Typed in the passphrase, erase all MH records. Beat. The screen blinked once, then returned with a message I didn't write. You are not authorized to remove yourself. Then another. Delete request denied, you are still occupied. I stared at that line for a long time. Still occupied. Like a room, a seat, a body. I tried accessing the root files next. That's where old autopsy reports live. Buried layers. Staff logs. Assignment metadata. When I opened the log history, my stomach turned. Every report I had ever written, all 700 plus of them, had been rewritten, not overwritten. No, they still read like mine. But there were embedded messages now. Lines buried between margins, hidden behind invisible characters. I decrypted one. It read, "They watch through your eyes." Another, "You are the door." And the last one, in bold, "Do not sleep on Sunday." That's when he arrives. The worst part. Those files were time-stamped from before I was even hired. Maya helped me run diagnostics on the computer itself. We pulled the drive, scanned it for malware, corruption, outside interference. What we found instead, a folder called Echo Cache. Inside, recordings, security footage that had never been stored on the main system, private logs, my voice narrating procedures I don't remember performing. In one clip, I whispered the words, "Patient accepts the host willingly. Duplicate complete." Another clip this time, a still frame. Me, standing over a table, but the body, also me. And behind me, a figure. Tall, blurred, faceless, watching. That's when we tried to disconnect the machine entirely. I reached to unplug it. The screen flickered, and a message appeared. "You can unplug it!" But we've already moved in. The lights in the lab went out. Emergency power didn't kick in. From the dark hallway, we heard the metal doors of the cold drawers slamming open, one by one. Table gurneys began rolling, alone. No hands, just movement. We ran, made it to Maya's car. Didn't speak until we were halfway across town. Finally, I whispered, "They've been using me." She said, "No, they've been building you. We just woke you up too soon." I didn't answer, because I wasn't sure who you meant anymore. The call came at 2:57 M. Just like always. No caller ID, just a dull tone and a single word. "Report." I should have ignored it, but my hands moved on their own. Got dressed, drove to the morgue, unlocked the side door without a key, like I'd done it 100 times. Like someone else had already practiced this inside my skin. When I entered processing, the lights were already on. The room was cold, too cold, like the chill was coming from inside the walls. And on table 6, a body bag, unzipped, waiting. I walked closer, already knowing it was me again. Same face, same scar, same broken molar, same old bloodshot eyes. But this version, he was breathing. I froze. He turned his head slowly, just enough to face me, then smiled. "Took you long enough," he said. His voice was mine, but too calm, too steady, like it belonged to someone finished with fear. I stepped back, gripped the scalpel, pointed it at him. "Who are you?" He chuckled. "I'm the original. You're the echo." "No." "Yes." He sat up, bones cracking like dried wood. "We tried building you cleaner, more obedient. But somewhere along the line, you started remembering things you weren't supposed to." He swung his legs over the edge of the table. "You thought those were memories. Those were instructions. I ran out of the room, out into the hall, but every door was locked now. Keypad blinking red. Exit denied. Behind me, I heard his bare feet slapping against the tiles. You're breaking protocol. 40. MH40. I wasn't Michael Hart anymore. I was number 40. An attempt, a version, a shell. I made it to the surveillance room. Tried to call Maya. The monitor flickered. Switched feeds. Now showing inside my apartment. Me still asleep in bed, breathing, unaware. A whisper came from the speaker. His voice. "You left the door open again. You know what happens when you forget the rules." I turned around, and he was there, behind the glass, smiling. But the mirror next to him showed me, still standing, still silent, not moving, except the reflection blinked and mouthed, "Let me back in." They say you can't be in two places at once, but what if you never left the first? What if every version of you that stepped out was just something wearing your memories like a coat? After the mirror incident, I locked myself in the admin wing. Maya went dark. Her phone rings twice, then nothing. No texts, no voicemails. I'm not sure she's still her anymore. I found her badge in the locker room, still warm, still pulsing. The morgue is quieter now. No phones, no alarms, just the hum of the cold room, and it hasn't stopped humming for over 12 hours. The status monitor says, "Room 0, open. Occupancy, yes, occupant. Undefined. We don't have a room 0. We never did." I walked the hall toward the back corridor, where the original cold room was sealed off after the 1994 incident. No one goes there, not even maintenance. But now the red light above the door is flickering. The temperature warning blinks. Tedidiki, access granted. MH40. Beat. That's me. I didn't grant anything. The keypad accepted my fingerprint before I touched it. The bolt turned. The door opened with the sound I felt in my teeth. Inside, rows and rows of drawers, at least 100. Each labeled, each silent, until drawer 01 slid open. Beat. There he was. My first duplicate, the one from the field. Face down, unmoving, but clutching something in his left hand. My old ID badge, the one I lost 6 months ago. The one I don't remember ever getting back. Then I heard it. A voice. From everywhere. From inside me. Only one of you can leave. Make the cut. I looked down. Scalpel in my hand. Again. That's when the drawers began to open 2 by 2. Each one revealing another version of me. Younger. Older. Burned. Stitched. Smiling. They stepped out. All of them. Dozens, surrounding me in the freezing dark, eyes locked on me in perfect unison. They whispered, "Time of death, pending, time of return." Now, I backed against the wall. Why me? They answered in a single voice, mine, but layered, multiplied, because you remember, and that makes you dangerous. One of them stepped forward, held out the scalpel, smiling. Erase yourself, or we'll rewrite you properly this time. I took it. I don't know why. Maybe part of me always knew I wasn't the original. Maybe none of us are. But I know this. I won't go back in the drawer, and I won't let another one wear my name. I raised the scalpel, beat, and aimed it at the one wearing my mother's wedding ring. The one who still bleeds. I didn't hesitate. Not because I was brave, because I was tired. Tired of looking over my shoulder and seeing my own eyes staring back. Tired of waking up in places I didn't fall asleep. Tired of asking which version of me was real, getting nothing but silence. So I drove the scalpel deep into his chest. The one wearing my mother's ring. He gasped, coughed blood, beat, then smiled. Good. You're finally learning. The others didn't react, didn't move. They just stepped back like they'd rehearsed it. The one I stabbed collapsed to the floor, but his body didn't bleed out. Instead, the blood evaporated, turned to steam. Frozen vapor swirling into the vents above drawer 00. A soft hiss followed. Then the cold room began to hum louder. I stumbled backward. The temperature dropped again, fast. The screen on the wall blinked erratically. System error. Cycle disrupted. Replication halted. Unified host not found. Then, the voice. That same hollow voice from the speaker system. Only now it echoed from the walls. If the door won't close, you must burn the house down. I understood what it meant. There's only one way to stop this. One way to make sure they never finish the cycle. I had to destroy the cold room, the true one. The machine that was using flesh like data, storing versions like files. The physical space was just a metaphor. The real cold room lived deeper beneath the slab, beneath the servers, beneath the floor we thought was solid. I ran through the halls, past flickering lights and glitching speakers. Alarms blared, drawers opened and slammed, mirrors cracked on their own, and from every reflection, my own face grinned back. Don't do it. We're almost done. Just one more version. This time, you'll be perfect. I made it to the main server room, the one sealed behind 3 inches of reinforced steel. I had no key, no clearance, but the door was already open, like they wanted me to see it. Inside were racks of servers, hundreds of them, cooling tubes, wires that pulsed like arteries. In the center, a vat, steel, cylindrical, wreathed in vapor, and floating inside, a body, mine, not a copy, not a clone, the original, unmoving, still, eyes open, monitoring me. This was the first one. Me before the replication started, still asleep, still dreaming of a job I thought would make sense of death. I knew what I had to do. I grabbed the emergency incineration release, a dead man's switch meant to sterilize the room in case of biohazard contamination. Pulled the lever. An alarm screamed. The system tried to stop me. Cycle incomplete. Host preservation required. You are needed. You are not done. I whispered back. I am. The chamber lit in fire. The servers melted. The vat boiled. And through the glass, I watched myself the first me blink once, then fade. The screams of my copies echoed through the vents. Thousands of voices, all mine, all burning, one final chorus. We were so close. Then silence. It's over. At least, that's what I tell myself every morning. Because I'm still waking up, still breathing, still bleeding when I cut myself shaving, still seeing my face in the mirror, beat. But the question that won't die is it still me after I destroyed the cold room? The morgue went silent. Literally. The power grid shut down. Files wiped. The batch system collapsed. They declared the building a total loss. Electrical fire, systemic failure, unrecoverable forensic infrastructure. They never even asked for a report. I think they already knew what was in there. And more importantly, they knew what got out. Maya never turned up. Not her body, not her badge, not even a trace of her login credentials. Just an empty locker and a sticky note on my desk the next time I sat down in the admin office. You did the right thing. Now don't look back. I want to believe she wrote it. I need to believe that, because the alternative is that something else is still watching. I started a new job 3 weeks ago. Private medical examiner, quiet clinic, small town with a smaller morgue. No weird drawers, no tresia, schedules. Just the dead, the way they're supposed to be. But last night, I heard a knock. 3 times, soft, measured. I opened my front door. No one there. Just a manila envelope on the doormat. Inside, one thing. A toe tag, typed. Clean. Tag number, MH41. Name, Dr. Michael Hart. Time of death, TBD. Status, unaccounted. Beat, under notes. Someone had scribbled. This one lasted longer. I burned it, but the smoke smelled like formaldehyde. And this morning, when I brushed my teeth, I noticed something in the mirror behind me. A handprint, small, faint, left behind the glass, still dripping. So here's what I know. I might have stopped the cycle. I might have burned the room, but pieces of it stayed inside me. And if one day I stop waking up, or worse, start waking up somewhere else, you'll know why. Don't follow me. Don't answer the knock. Don't look in the mirror after midnight. And whatever you do, don't open drawer 17.